45 past the hour. Live look at the White House. Joining us now, former White House Chief of Staff for President Obama and former two-term mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. He's the author of the new book, The Nation City, Why Mayors Are Now Running the World. It's great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the important stuff first.
But this book is very important.
How are the Cubs going to do this year?
Yeah, I think the Cubs are going to be, well, we'll see. I don't know. I think the jury's out on some trades and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm going to be rooting for him.
All right, well, we'll get to your book now. Why did you write the book?
No, that's okay. You want to talk about your mother, your feelings, your hopes, your dreams? Is there anything you would like to talk about?
What's your workout regime, Rahm?
Yes.
Do you eat worms like your brother?
No, never.
Yeah. You promise you don't eat worms?
Promise.
All right, what's your workout regime?
Really?
Yeah.
You said it. You opened the door.
Gotta go. We're going around the world.
Okay.
Let's go.
Get ready? I swim 3 times a week, a mile. 3 times a week, yoga. Twice a week, I do aerobics and stuff, and 3 times a week I do weights.
What's your diet like?
It's a little much.
Yeah, diet's on. I've taken all meat out.
Have you really?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's enough. Let's talk about the book. Enough.
So now you want to talk about
Let's add 3 more minutes for that.
Okay, so let's talk about the book. Why did you write it?
Well, because I think the center of gravity in our politics has moved dramatically. If you look at it today, look at England. Former mayor of London is now the prime minister. You have more mayors running for president in the United States today than both parties combined over the last 100 years. And it tells you the politics is shifted. People are looking at and wanting somebody like a mayor that understands kind of the government. When you think about where you live, where you send your kids to schools, the libraries, the parks, the transportation to and from work,
how things
all
run.
the services that you rely on come out of local government. And that's where, of all the public institutions, federal government trust in the 20s, local government in the 70s. In addition to that, while this has happened before in history, mayors actually, in this case, are taking on things they never used to take on. Climate change, immigration, research centers, things that they now have to do because the federal government has, by default, receded from playing a central role. The cities, based both on constituents as well as quality of life, have stepped forward into things that they never, ever, 10, let alone 15 years ago. And by illustration, we did a Chicago charter on climate change. Cities from across the globe keeping their commitment customized to their city for meeting the Paris by 2025. That never would have happened 20 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, where not only are you doing the fundamentals on transportation, education, parks, library investments to keep your city in the forefront, you're now taking on major international issues because the federal government has abandoned their responsibility. That's happening in Brussels, it's happening in London, and it's happening at Disneyland on the Potomac.
It's interesting to hear you frame it that way. We played a little of Joe Biden's ad come in where he went after Pete Buttigieg and said, well, I was negotiating the Iran deal. He was putting lights under bridges, which was, to a lot of people, I think, a good ad. But to a lot of other people, they thought, I don't know, kind of like the lights under the bridge. I like my mayor.
Remember the governor of Michigan?
Yeah.
Just pave the damn roads.
Yeah.
I mean, people's expectations, we got them right where they want. So low that you can clear them. And in their view, street lights, cobblestones,
great.
Check me in. Not, and the fact is, when you think about it, today, the major things, if you go to the American people, am I going to get universal pre-K for my children? In Chicago, we set up, with other cities are now replicating, if you get to be average in high school, we make community college free. And the biggest burden on American families, which child can you afford to send to college? Cities are the ones that are innovating. Boston's doing it. Louisville's doing that. Denver's doing it. San Francisco's doing it. And guess what? Federal government's never called, never studied, never looked at it, either side of Pennsylvania Avenue. And one of the more important innovations happening in education. When President Obama, to his credit, tried to pass universal pre-K across the country, couldn't get it done. What did he do? Called 200 mayors together and said, I need you guys to move on this. And across the country, city after city of multiple size Democratic, Republican mayors are now passing and implementing universal pre-K.
Rahm, you sound like Bernie Sanders. I mean, universal pre-K, he just put out a program for that.
No, I sound like Dr. Emanuel's son. Children.
No, but what I mean...
I
didn't mean that as a criticism. You shouldn't take it that way.
I didn't take it like that.
I meant, but to get people to community college for free, these are ideas that Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders have put out.
But they have put them out.
Yeah.
Now, 8,000 children in Chicago have already taken free community college called Chicago Star Scholarship. 81% of them come from families that never have gone to college. And I will guarantee you that we'll be close to 20,000 children in Chicago do it before they even get a bill introduced. I don't think they'll pass it. I don't think they'll find the money. And I wish they would. Don't get me wrong. But I think one of the challenges we face is the federal government has actually broken to the point it's not meeting the needs of the people in their both communities, and I say the community of America. And so mayors realizing high school degree, 20th century, great. 21st century, you got to have 2 years minimum. So this year, by example, in Chicago, first city to do it, to get your high school diploma, you're going to have to show a letter of acceptance from either college, community college, vocational ed, branch of armed service, or a job. Every child, not just the Emmanuel children, not just the Scarborough children, every child will have a post-high school plan because that's what the 21st century requires. And the national government, crickets, nowhere to be seen.
So unlike United States senators, some congressmen, a lot of governors, mayors have to interact with people every single day.
Every day.
And one of the most significant national issues is immigration. So could you talk about today, immigration, mayors, big cities, small cities, you get ICE SWAT teams sent to cities, and so you as a mayor, former mayor, have to deal with your police department to work out a policy. Are you going to cooperate with ICE or not?
No. But also let me give you the affirmative. So step back for a second. Chicago's no different than any other big or medium-sized city. But in our city, there's 145, 146 languages spoken in the public schools. Now, those are a lot of religions, a lot of faiths, a lot of backgrounds from both sides of the Atlantic and the Potomac. But the aspiration of the parents, the same. So example of what the mayor, Eric Garcetti, is doing in Los Angeles, like Chicago, like other cities, our libraries, we have immigration centers. So we help people become citizens. But the idea that your local law enforcement, which is essential for community policing, for trust and dialogue and relationship, would be participation in separating families who are abiding by the law, not a chance would that happen, because you would rip the fabric of both community and community policing. The goal of safety is trust. And if you literally have police as an auxiliary of ICE, the community that you need to finger a gangbanger, to know who and work with the police to identify a crime or a pattern in your neighborhood, you would be breaking that trust. So no mayor, Democrat or Republican, would turn their police department into an auxiliary of ICE because it would actually rip at the very fabric of community policing, which is how you implement the safety you want to see in your neighborhoods.
All right, Ram, the book is The Nation City, Why Mayors Are Running the World.
For you, I'm giving an audio.
I like that.
fantastic.
Did you say you were doing yoga?
Big believer in it.
Mindfulness? You seem less reactive.
No, yoga,
No.
I wouldn't go that far.
No mindfulness yet.
This is
I
no,
think
no.
you might be mindful, Ron.
You seem hostile toward
Very zen.
mindfulness.
Yeah, that's where you got reactive.
Middle children, war or peace. Book number 3.
Let me ask you this. Tonight, what are you looking for tonight at the debate?
Oh, yeah.
Well, everybody has a different measure. So one is Bernie is the front runner, that if these things don't happen, he becomes a presumptive nominee.
Yeah.
So everybody has, all 5 have a responsibility. Number 2, Biden's got to prove himself. Bloomberg's got to prove that that was a one-off. Everybody else who's been 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or 2nd, but never really has emerged, has to get a medal at some point. What's really interesting to me, 2 things I would say. At this point 10 years ago, in 08, 12, 1996, if you were 3rd or 4th consistently, money be over. The internet's changed the way. You can stay around the hoop and wait for Elijah to come.
That could be a
because
problem.
the internet has, 10 years ago, you'd be dried up.
Yeah.
You would be out of this by now. And this has to get focused. I do think everybody has an individual challenge in this. What I think was, in my view in Vegas, was political. If there was malpractice in the political profession, 4 people would be sued right now. Everybody's looking at the guy who's not on the ballot, yelling at him. Okay, that's a lot of anger. And I get why, actually.
Yeah.
I get why. The other guy who's front runner, you're in Vegas, where 2 years ago, the worst mass shooting in American history.
Yeah.
And you never say the fact that he has got a pretty good vote with the NRA, not with the rest of the Democrats on guns.
They helped electing the Congress.
No, the other thing, he also had a heart attack and went to the Vegas hospital. Did he use Medicare for all, or did he use his Senate government health care plan? Which one? Nobody asked a single question. So he wins. Big shock. My view is you either take on and decide you're going to deal with the front runner like everybody has in the past, or you'll, out of a lot of anger that Bloomberg did not do what he should have done, and go actually earn the support. He tried to, what people are viscerally reacting is, as Bill Clinton said in New Hampshire, I'm going to be here till the last dog died. And he got something because people knew he had sweat equity in the game.
Right.
Bloomberg has not shown any sweat equity.
None.
Just a lot of equity. If I was any one of the other candidates, I get a loan at a very low interest from Mike Bloomberg.
Yeah,
right now.
He was a mayor.
Clinton has a lot of sayings about dogs. We can't say enough. Anyway,
All
thank
right,
you so
Rahm
much,
Emanuel.
Rob. We greatly
Great to
appreciate
see
it.
you.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.